Here's my rig, and this is my rig rundown. So this is what my rig looks like. I have two pedal boards, and one feeds into the other, and then the whole signal chain feeds into my mixing board. The mixing board is a QSC Touch Mix 16, and this is the 16, and I have the Touch Mix 8 on my live gig. So let's start with this pedal board. The signal chain starts here, and I'm in the studio, so I've got a cable plugged into it. But when I'm on the gig, I typically use the X5, and that is my first input. That then goes into my first overdrive. This overdrive is a Wampler, Euphoria. If you look this up, this is basically kind of designed to emulate a Dumble sound. I don't really think it does particularly, but it has a nice tone to it. I really like it. I use this pedal for a little gain, but also it really helps boost the bass when I'm using my Octaver bass pedal. My next overdrive is the TC Electronics Mojo, the Mojo. I don't particularly use this pedal by itself. I will commonly use this stacked on top of something else because this provides kind of a compressed sound. And when I'm soloing and I've got a nice singing tone happening, this kind of elevates that singingness to it. My next overdrive is the Analog Man Prince of Tone. If you know about Analog Man, if you know, you know. This is a great overdrive. I absolutely love it. I bought two of these before I purchased the King of Tone. And frankly, this is two overdrives in one unit. And this guy is what I commonly use the most. And I will stack this with both. I will stack this with both of these, or sometimes with that, or sometimes with the Mojo. This particular side is great for more of just a drive. This kind of I wouldn't say distortion, but it sings more. And you'll notice I have these guys, the drive up pretty high. This one I will keep anywhere from here to there. I like the brightness in the tones. So I like that. I like the brightness in the tones of these because I like that about there. This coupled with this is like a great boosting solo signal. I absolutely love that sound. Next we have the Supro Drive. This was probably one of my first drives I added to the pedal. This one and the Mojo. And this basically is kind of a nice, it feels kind of like a little bit of a tube presence. And I like using this on my T5 acoustic setting or my humbucker pickup. It really sounds, it gives more presence, and it's also a nice boost when I just need some more volume. From here, the signal goes to the input of my Flashback 4. I use this Flashback for a lot of my longer delays where I get really spacey. I really only use one setting, and I have yet to program all three, which I should do. But I'd be curious to see what the newer version of this sounds like. They have the newer versions of the TC Electronics has a great capability of editing your presets through an a software online on your computer, on your laptop or your home computer. And from the flashback, the output of the flashback goes over to my Dunlop Crybaby Q535. That thing sings like every wah pedal should sing. That is the choice. I love that thing. Next, we have the TC Electronics Corona Chorus. And this, if you know, you know, is the standard of all luscious, sweet choruses. It's been for decades, and I still love it. The next on the pedal board is the TC Electronics Flashback. This is the first one, and this is the one I use for most of my my solo sounds. I just like a little delay on it, and it's got plenty of settings. And this is the newer version that you can edit through the software on your PC and connect via USB. Next, we've got the Boss Super Octave OC3. This thing is a great little bass sound, basically. Allows me to get a bass sound with my guitar. And it has a pass filter. You notice the poly setting? It's set on poly. And that allows a pass filter, which this is the pass filter. You set this to a particular frequency that allows the bass to basically stay restricted to that frequency and below. And then the higher frequencies will pass. So it allows me to kind of get the bottom two strings to perform as my bass and the top three strings to pass through as a guitar sound. And I can play bass and guitar at the same time. It's a great feature to have. And I will do a combination of that, or, layer the bass and then other guitar parts and so forth. But this is a great device. If you don't know about it, you should get it and play with it. This is the TC Electronics. This is another octaver. Actually, it has like 3 octaves. I've got octave 1, 2, 3, and then the normal tone coming through. This thing has been affectionately titled by my good friend Mark as the Zamboni. And hence, in the live stream, we call it the Zamboni. I use this for kind of an organ patch. It's fun for reggae and some other sounds. But I do love the tone. It's great. I don't overuse it, but I do like it. And if you hear me overusing it, then I'm having fun. Next, we go from here into my AB switch. My AB switch will send the signal into my loop station, which is where I'm recording everything, or it will send it to my mixer right there, allowing me to bypass the loop station and have more of a pure guitar tone while I'm soloing. And that way the sound won't get so compressed because it's going through the loop station, because the loop station, when I'm recording in here, it really compresses the sound quite a bit. I do the same thing with the vocals. So the vocals has an AB switch. And for those of you who are looking for one, this is the best. It's a little more expensive, but it is the best, cleanest AB switch, Whirlwind Selector XL. It's the best. It's the cleanest, and there's no clicking and noise that you get on others. And I do the same thing. I in this position, this vocal is feeding. Actually, this vocal feeds into. As you can see, I've got this big snake here. And I've got a cable coming here connecting to this side, which feeds into my mixer. Now let's talk about this. So people also ask me, how do I get such a nice, delicious beatbox sound? Well, this is my trick. When this is on the B side, then I'm recording into my loop station. However, before it goes in the loop station, I'm sending this signal here to my mixer. This is how I do this. This channel, you'll see, says beatbox. That channel, channel 12, is a signal from my mic coming in here, and I have it set up so I am, if you look at the EQ, I'm bumping the EQ up at about 100K, and also about 1K, right? And so my objective is to bump the frequencies that are highlighting the kick and the snare. And here, this high pass is really good for the cymbal sound, like the hi-hat, right? And then the bottom, right? So I do that. I add that in the EQ. Here's a better example of that. I add compression. I add a little gate to it as well, so I don't have as much room noise coming in when I'm recording, because when you're recording into your loops, you get a lot of room noise because this just kind of amplifies the sound the more you record and the more you layer. So adding a little gate will help that. And then I don't add effects because I want this to be dry. Okay. And I save that as a preset, beatbox 8. And then I send that beatbox, I send that back to there. Now you'll notice the beatbox volume is down because I don't want the beatbox going through the main system. I just want it going back into the auxiliary send. So that's my trick with the beatbox. Now, with that in mind, my vocal going through the mixer and then back into here, that's how I'm recording my beats, and I record the beats into my track 1 and the rest of my arrangements into track 2 and 3. The final stage of the signal path comes from the output of my loop station into my volume pedal. And this controls the volume out of the whole rig into my snake, which runs into my mixer. On the mixer, we're only using 4 channels. I'm using one channel for the vocal, another channel for the beatbox mic, and anything that I'm going to be using to sing into my loop station. And this is the loop station. Everything's coming out of the loop station is right here. That's the input for the loop station. And this is the guitar by itself. I've got them labeled: vocal, beatbox, loop station, guitar. And for the final pedal, I've got this AB switch. And this AB switch basically is used to change the patch. So when I hit this switch, you'll see over here, I'm on patch 1, patch 2, patch 3, up and down, right? I have 2 patches committed to memory. I'm only using 2 patches. One is quantized, so if I create an arrangement with, like, let's say a 2-measure beatbox, all of these will be quantized to a 2-measure, right? And the other one is basically I can have each one I can have each track at different lengths, okay? And so typically I use this one all the time. So I don't save any of my arrangements. I don't even have any prearranged arrangements. I record everything on the fly. And when I'm done with my arrangement, watch, I will switch the patch and erase it. When I switch the patch, it automatically erases it. And I start fresh and start all over. And for my vocal mic, I use a Telefunken. I love this guy. This mic is great. And I use a Sennheiser wireless, which is only really good for close distance. You can't really take this very far. But for me, it's perfect because I can remove the mic from the mic stand and still, I'm just here. I'm not tripping over wires. So that's the part I love. And that's why I like using, little wireless devices like that. But I'm not using heavy duty wireless gear because I'm not traveling far. I'm keeping everything right in this vicinity. So there you go. That's my rig rundown. And I have a couple other pedals that I might add to the board. I might need a bigger power supply. So yeah, that's my rig rundown. If you got any more questions, please drop your comments and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.